The best practitioners typically use the democratic style, but are more direct when required, and they will ensure and keep good command and control of the situation and move it forward. Hello, I'm Adam Norman, the CEO here at MIM. MIM is the global best practice training and certification provider, and we deliver to clients in over 80 countries. I have said this so many times, major incident management is leadership. Now, of course, process has to be well structured, well tested and refined and in place. Everyone has to know their role. And the tools that you leverage are really important in terms of automating what can be automated and indeed should be, reducing the cost and time of mobilizing the operation and all of the administration that occurs. But really, particularly if you're a good and established major incident function, leadership and communication and people skills and increasing one's or indeed a team's capabilities around those are where you see the greatest results. So you see significant reduction in mean time to resolve, and that in turn saves the operation considerable cost in downtime, impact, reputational, and any reporting responsibilities, fiduciary responsibilities that you may have that go along with that. So before I get into leadership styles and start talking about those, it's really interesting because all of us who are in this position lead, whether we recognize it or not, and very few people would actually be able to articulate their leadership style in a common language or a common way. So even if they lead the same way as another person that they hadn't met before, and the two of them were to describe it, they'd probably do it in a very different manner. This is partly just because we as an industry haven't spent a lot of time really understanding leading models for communication and leadership, and that's a big part of what we did in the global best practice in IT major incident management. These four pillars: process, people, tools, continual improvement. The people section, we spent a huge amount of time developing individuals and teams, communication skills, their leadership capabilities and their ability to command and control large and diverse groups of people and stakeholders. So there are lots of different leadership models, and not all of them I would suggest are fit for purpose. So you do have to be conscious about what you're looking at if you're going outside of this and doing your own research, looking at other types of leadership models. But today I just want to talk about three types of leadership. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each of these, we're going to describe them in a little bit of detail, and then we're going to talk about how they're used and when to be applicable. So one of the things I would say beforehand is, yes, you may already have a certain style that you resonate towards and you lean on, and that may just be because you have naturally lent into that style. That does not mean you do not have the ability to learn, understand and apply different styles. And indeed, very good leaders, what they do is they apply different styles in different situations. And so they are very conscious of which style is required to maximize their leadership capability and to maximize the performance of all of the people around them. What is it the team needs? And this is going back to this idea of serving the people that you are leading. What do you as the leader need to do to support them and serve them, to enable them to perform at the highest levels? In 1939, Kirk Lewin, a now very famous psychologist, and a team of researchers did a piece of work, and the outcome of that research was they defined three basic leadership styles. So, number one, Authoritarian style. This style, very interestingly, is very direct. The leader is expecting the entire team to do as they direct. They are not looking for feedback, and they are not looking for input or suggestions. So, if you think about this style, a really good example would be a police officer arriving at the scene of a road traffic accident, for example. So there's time sensitivity, there's potential danger that is still present, and they're not really interested at that particular moment in making decisions by committee or getting lots of input from everyone around. They just need speed to make sure that everybody is safe and they can protect the public. And so they are going to give people directions and ask them to do that immediately. So that's a good example of somebody applying that style. The problem with the authoritarian style is major incident management's a team sport. You need the collective brain power of the technical experts, and to handicap yourself by not seeking input from others who definitely will have information and know things that you may not is not really a move we want to take. Next, the democratic style. So this, as it sounds, is far more democratic in terms of the leader is absolutely looking for input from the team that they are leading. They want suggestions, they want contributions, they're looking for ideas, and they're looking for other people's input to come collectively to the best decision. Now, bear in mind, the leader still makes the decisions and still has ultimate accountability, but they are looking for input and support from the team. This style is very good for making the team feel involved, making people feel valued, and feeling like they have a voice. It's a very useful style. Naturally though, by doing this, there is a time trade-off. So if you're going to ask for people's opinions and input, there is going to be a time cost. You're going to have to wait for them to actually give you the answers, give you their input. So there is a time trade-off. This style, if we were to use an analogy, I think probably King Arthur. So most people will know the story of King Arthur. King Arthur at the round table with his knights. And the idea was of the round table is everybody had a seat at the table and everybody's opinion was equally valid, and he wanted counsel, guidance and input. Now he did not relinquish being the leader, so he still had ultimate accountability, but he very much wanted input from people that he trusted and valued, and they also felt a part of something. So a very good start, but that's probably a useful analogy for this. Finally, the laissez-faire style. This style is more applicable to a leader who is quite hands-off, meaning they will empower their team and allow them to run with their own decisions, meaning assigning a task and off you go. You can now make decisions around this task. I'm not necessarily expecting you to check back in. I don't necessarily want to hear about the decisions you make. I would like you to make these. So, pros and cons of this style. If you think about somebody who has less experience or is not particularly confident in the operation, if you set them a task with little guidance and send them off, and you're not checking in with them, you just expect them to go off and do this task, they can make their own decisions around the semantics of it, what do you think is likely to occur? Well, first of all, they're probably going to feel very unsupported, and they may even feel slightly anxious because of the lack of guidance. And second of all, it's very unlikely you're going to get the result you want. The laissez-faire style is almost an abdication of your leadership. So you're not maintaining any control or very little observation of what is going on. So it's not a great one. Certainly for our purposes, there's very few times you would want this. So when would you want this style? There's a good argument to say that if you have a team that you've worked with for a very long time, you know their capabilities and you trust them and they are expert at what they do, that you can apply this style. I mean, you can be more hands-off, which naturally frees you up to do other tasks. But even then, in major incident management, things change, situations are dynamic, things often take longer than people anticipate, which means your deadlines can be knocked out. If you're not keeping a watchful eye, going back, checking with people, do I need to get you more resource? Are we still going to hit the deadline time? Which naturally then will change the comms that you issue out to stakeholders. If that changes, you have the ability to do something about it and be proactive and be a proactive leader. If you take this approach, then chances are you won't know there's an issue with a task or an action because you are very hands-off. You have left that person, so even if they are talented. So for major incident management, it's very rare that you would look at a scenario and suggest that a leader apply that style. I'd like you to think about this. It's very interesting to think, and I'd like you to take it back to the operation and perhaps try some of these styles and see the impact it has on the team. Does their performance increase? Or do they not respond well to certain styles of leadership? You as the leader, again, need to be watching, seeing what behaviours are exhibited and how they respond. Your job as a major incident manager is to maximise the collaboration and performance of this intelligent bunch of individuals and bring them together as a team. If you'd like to see more content from me and the team here at MIM, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also hit the notification bell